So, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. We'll start with our feet in a wide stance, toes pointed forward, and we'll just warm up slowly, thumbs together, sweeping to one side. You can shift your feet, come through center, and go the other side. And now start to add your breath. Inhale through center, exhale to one side. And each time making it a little bigger. Notice your legs, feet will want to turn each side, that's good. Good. Start to slow your breath down. As you do so, movements get bigger, stronger. The body and the mind will relax together. 2 more times. Good. Now, same side to side motion, but one hand will sweep across the body and then place it on the leg. The other hand comes through, and there is no right or wrong here. So experiment with how you move that front hand. Good, serve it forward, palm open. Good, keep it close to the chest. Let's sink deeper through the hips. Just enjoy how this feels. Don't worry about what it looks like or what others may think. Just feel good with your stretching today. Let's go 2 more times. Good. And then when you're ready, step in. Body's loosened up a bit. We'll do some sun salutations. Coming to the side of our mat. Standing, feet about hip width apart, hands at your heart center. This is mountain pose. We'll take a big inhale up. And then exhale, fold forward, diving over your legs. Down to forward fold. Inhale, rise up your shins to a flat back. Stay here an extra breath. Then exhale, hands to the floor, right foot lunges back in a proud lunge. What does a proud lunge look like? 90-degree front knee, straight back knee, and then chin forward. When that's ready, step back. And let's work on perfecting downward dog. It starts by pushing all 10 fingers into the mat, the floor. And once your fingers are active, pushing through the palms as well. Strong through the wrists and strong through the elbows, but your shoulders are nice and relaxed. When all that's ready, push your heels down and your hips up for downward dog. Now we'll do a breathing exercise, 4 times, 4 moves. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower and hover or on your knees. Then inhale, rise up to the tops of your toes in up dog. And exhale, come back. 3 more times from downward dog. Let's begin. Inhale, plank position. Exhale, lower and hover in crocodile or on your knees. Then tuck your toes, upward dog, and exhale, push back to downward dog. Now, 2 more times with your breath. Don't worry about staying in rhythm with me. Instead, focus on doing these moves with your breath, connecting the flow of air to the movement of your body. And just focus on making that connection. Almost as if you can't tell which one comes first. Instead, the breath and the movement are linked. But eventually, we'll all meet back in downward dog. When you get back here, if you want, drop a knee forward. Push the opposite heel back. And then switch. Good. Now, your best downward dog here. Really push those heels down. And when that's complete, take a look between your hands. Step that right foot forward. Hold your lunge for a moment, and then drop the back knee and tuck your toes. And on an inhale, rise up, circling up in a kneeling warrior one. You can add a little back bend if you want, and push your hips forward. And then exhale, circling down and around. Hands on either side of the feet. Reset that lunge. And step. Hold your forward fold. As long as you want. And when you're ready, inhale, rising up. And exhale, circle your hands down and around, clasping behind your lower back. And pushing your hips forward. Chin up. Squeeze your shoulders. Exhale. Release. Done on one side. Excellent. We'll go again. Hands at our heart center. Feet are under hips. And mountain pose. And when you're ready, inhale. Circling up. Hands to your highest point, then exhale. Swan dive forward. Down to that forward fold. Just hang here. We can stay here a little bit extra this time. Let your head and shoulders, everything above your hips just hangs. Then inhale, rise up your shins. Try and create a flat back. Let's give an extra breath here as well. A line from your lower spine to your upper spine, the back of your head. Then exhale, fold again. This time hands on either side of the feet and left foot steps back in a proud lunge, which has a 90-degree front knee, a straight back knee, and when that's ready, chin forward. Take as long as you want in this lunge. When you're ready, step back into downward dog. But take time to perfect it here. Working on pushing through all 10 fingers into the floor or mat, as well as pushing down through the palms, being strong at your wrists and elbows, but loose and relaxed at the shoulders. That's probably the hardest part. And then when you're ready, heels down, hips up, downward dog. Now our breathing exercise again, 4 times 4 moves. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower and hover or on your knees in crocodile. Then inhale, tops of your toes, come to the floor for up dog. Curl the toes back under and push back, downward dog. 3 more times. Focus on your breathing. Make it strong and steady, connected to movements. Exhale lowers you to crocodile. Your inhale rises you up to up dog. Your exhale pushes you back, downward dog. Try to focus on how this feels. Just keep your thoughts steady and calm internally, just letting go and breathing. You can stay longer in one pose if you want, or keep connecting every pose to a breath. There's no right or wrong. Eventually, we'll all get back to downward dog. We'll meet up there. If you want again, you can drop a knee. This time I usually drop a knee with a twist and point it through the opposite shoulder. And then switch. Knee points through the other shoulder. And now your best and final downward dog. Those hips as high as you can. And then, looking between your hands, step that left foot back forward. Hold that lunge for a moment, then drop the knee. Untuck the toes in the back, and then inhale, rise up, hands together, leaning back, slight back bend, and pushing the hips forward for a kneeling warrior one. When you're ready, circle down and around, reset that lunge. And then when you're ready, step in. Hold your forward fold. Just hang. You can help it a bit by pulling on the ankles or tucking your fingers under your toes. Then just hang there. When you're ready, inhale, circle up. Hands to your highest point. Then exhale, hands come behind. Clasp those hands at your lower back. Squeeze the hands, squeeze the shoulders, chin up, and hips forward. And exhale, release. Okay, all warmed up now. We're gonna point our toes to the front of the room and go through some standing poses. So the first is, starting with wide legs, we'll take our left foot, point it to the side, bend that left knee so it's straight over that left ankle. That front heel points right back to the back heel in a straight line, and the back foot's 45 degrees to the leg. Use your hands to help it so the hips are pointing straight forward, and when all that's ready, add the arms. Take a look to make sure they're straight out, not dipping or back. Roll the shoulders to keep them loose, and finally sink deep. So your body is still straight up and down over the hips. And check that that front knee is still straight over the ankle. Let's come up just halfway and then see if you can sink further. When you can't sink any further, reach forward, elbow to leg, arms straight up. And just sink through those hips. Now you can stay here perfectly good, or drop a hand to the floor. You can stay there, or hand comes straight overhead. 2 more options, all of them are good. One is hand comes behind, wraps around, tucks under, and tries to reach around. And the last option is hand underneath, and try for a bind. Hand to hand or hand to wrist, behind your lower back. But whatever you chose, let's all come back to elbow on leg, arms straight up. And take a look at your front palm, probably it's your left palm. And on an inhale, rise up. Drop your back hand onto your leg and check to make sure the back leg is straight. And when it is, chin forward, rise it up your arm. Take a look at that palm above you. Sink your hips. Keep your belly in for sunward. And when you're done, release. Keep the feet positioned, just the arms come down. We'll go a little bit wider. Maybe a little narrower. I like a little wider. You decide what's right for you. Add the arms again. Everything's the same, except the front leg is straight. When you're ready, reach through, and then rotate down to triangle pose. The bottom hand can be open or closed against the leg. But the goal here is to rotate through the ribs, so drop those top fingers back. Really rotate. When you've got the most out of this pose, drop both hands forward, toes point forward, and just hang here in a wide forward fold. You can stay longer if you need to rest. When you're ready, walk your hands back up your legs without pushing on your knees. And heel toe till you can step in. And just release for a moment. Have a whole other side to do. So when you're ready, wide stance again. Toes point forward. This time the right toes turn to the side. The right knee comes above the right ankle. Right ankle points to back ankle on the back foot, 45 degrees to the leg. Make sure your hips point forward. And when all that's ready, add the arms. Make sure they're straight out. My back arm wasn't, so I fixed it. Roll the shoulders to stay loose, and then sink. Check that as you sink, that front knee is still above the front ankle. You might have to adjust. Let's come up just halfway, and then see if you can sink deeper. When you can't sink any further, reach forward, and and then elbow to the leg, arms straight up. Really reach to that top hand, but still sink the hips. Now stay here, or drop a hand to the floor. You can also bring that top hand overhead for a straight line, pinky finger to pinky toe. And two more options. You can bring that top hand behind, wrapping it around. That's a bit of a shoulder stretch. And last option, you can reach underneath and try to bind the hands or wrist to hand behind the lower back. Just make sure your ribs stay pointing forward, not down. Whatever option you chose though, let's come back to elbow on leg, arms straight up. And then take a look at your front palm. Probably it's your right palm. And in a fluid motion, rise it up and over. Take a look at your back hand. Think to straighten that back leg. And then chin forward. Rise it from your shoulder, up your arm, to your hand. Sink your hips. When you're ready, come up. Release the arms. But keep the feet. Heels still in line. Back foot still 45. But I usually go a little wider here if you decide what's right for you. And then when you're ready, add the arms back in. Roll the shoulders to keep them loose. And this time we reach over a straight leg and rotate down to triangle. The goal here is not to get low. It's to rotate through the spine and ribs. Help that by dropping those top fingers back. Really reach back. And when that feels complete, drop both hands forward, toes point forward, in a wide forward fold. Just hang for a moment. Everything above your waist is loose. You can have your hands on the floor, or you can hold at the elbows. You can put one hand on each leg, it's up to you. When you're ready, start to walk your hands up the legs without pushing on your knee. And then heel toe so you can step in. Alright. We did some standing positions. Now let's do some balance. Our balance pose is going to be tree pose, my favorite. So when you're ready, place one foot against either the lower leg or help it to the upper leg. And find that balance first. Don't be in a hurry. Just let that focus come. When you're ready, hands to your heart center. And then we'll start to move through tree pose. Planting the tree first, and then rising the hands up. There's no right or wrong. You can do whatever feels good. The motion through your arms is really up to you. When you're ready, open the branches of the tree. If it feels appropriate, you can mirror what I'm doing, but I encourage you to experiment. Don't feel like you have to do any particular pose or any particular motion. Just let your mind be free and give yourself the patience and respect to allow yourself to touch down if you have to. That's okay. I might have to touch down as well. If I do, I won't get frustrated. There. I just did, and it's okay. And it really wasn't on purpose. I lost my balance. It's okay. We'll reset again. The second time through, start the same way, but this time the leg's more tired, but the mind is stronger. Reaching up to your highest point, then opening up. Sometimes I add little shoulder movements. Pinch your thumb and fingers together slowly, one at a time. But eventually, we'll come back to our heart center. Find one last moment of stillness. And then release.
we'll go the other side. So when you're ready, foot comes to the other leg. Take your time. There's no need to rush. And one side will often feel different than the other. That's okay. When you're ready, gather yourself at your heart center. And then slowly progressing through tree pose. Rising up. Do what feels good. Try to keep the knee pointed out to the side. Doesn't have to be symmetry. Sometimes I like the asymmetry, the lack of symmetry of hand in front, hand behind. And then when you're ready, hands back together. We'll go again, our heart center. When you're ready, hands down, and then inhale, back up. Let's find one more moment of stillness back at our heart center.